Rocket Toys deliver once again with this Uchiha Itachi figure from Naruto. We're going to take a look at it in this video. The shipper box, for anyone that cares about it, is just going to look like this ROC logo on the front. Pretty basic, pretty plain, Itachi down there. I've got corner protectors. Depending on where you get it from, you will get corner protectors on the box. Sometimes you might not, and sometimes this thing will be plastered up, and yeah, it's not going to be very, very good to keep as a collectible piece, I guess. You got the Akatsuki cloud motif or symbol on the sides of the box as well, like so. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple, plain box. So we're getting rid of the shipper box. Here's the actual box of the product itself. It is quite simple again and plain. I have seen the Madara one. I just haven't done a video on it yet. Actually, my Madara one had a pierced hole on it, which kind of annoyed me. But fortunately, my Itachi box is fine. So it's got a similar color scheme as that one in terms of the really light yellow kind of paper look to it, I guess. You've got the Akatsuki clouds for the Akatsuki members, which Itachi was a member of. Got some kanji down below, which I'm not sure what that actually says. I should probably take a look. Might be his name, but I don't know. Because then you've got a kanji on the side here as well. So I don't know what those kanji is. You got the ROC Rocket Toys 003. Now, to be honest, I can't remember if this is number 3 of the kind of Naruto figures that they're doing, or 3 of the figures that they've done so far. So they have done Sengoku Basara 2 figures so far, but Madara came out before him. And I just don't remember what Madara's number was. On the back is pretty plain. This is a sealed product, so you've got stickers, by the way, just to make sure it's a sealed product and official and so on. You've got Rocket Toy stickers up top, and then the other side, just again, the kanji that we saw before. Bottom is pretty plain. And then that top flap has just got some licensing kind of information, the kind of legal line stuff. But let's get this figure open because I'm very excited to see Itachi in person because the promo shots looked absolutely gorgeous. So I totally forgot, this actually does come with an even proper box inside the actual outer box. So this is the proper box of the product, just like the other Sengoku Basara Rocket Toy figures as well that we've seen, and Madara, which I haven't done a video of yet. And of course, everything else that will follow after this. So this is the much nicer looking box, black overall with the kind of slightly hued crimson look of the Akatsuki clouds. I did have to look up the kanji, so that was just Shu for crimson or vermilion, something like that. Basically, it was the ring that Itachi wore in the anime, and a lot of the Akatsuki wore that ring. I just completely forgot. It's been many, many years. I kind of it's part of my past, I guess. So you've got the kanji again on the side, on both sides, I assume it is. You've got ROC 003 down at the bottom. The back is quite hard to see, but you've got the cloud again there. It's not got the foil look to it this time. The Naruto Shippuden logo up top. You've got Itachi 1/6 scale. Bunch of different text. It should also say the size of this figure. It's probably around 30 centimeters, but it's 1/6 scale, so it should be correct to that. Akatsuki kanji right there as well, ROC again. At the top, what do we have? Upside down logo. It's upside down. It's the right way, depending on which way you look at it. Then you got the logo again down at the bottom. So this is the much nicer looking box. Oh, also want to point out, you do also get the stickers here as well. 4 stickers at the back to make sure that it's a sealed product. It has got a little bit of finish that my fingerprints are showing on the box as well. So that's a little bit kind of, might be a little bit annoying to some people that want to keep a pristine box, but I've only got the one figure. That's all I can do. So also, yeah, just pointing out again that you've got the reflections on the clouds on the front side, so you might get fingerprints there. So keep that in mind when you handle this box. I don't use gloves because, well, I paid for the figure, I might as well get fully hands-on with it. So once you get the lid off the box, you are greeted with this nice illustration of Itachi. It's the actual photo of the figure with some kind of effects around it. So you don't really see the figure in great detail. You've got some logos and stuff down at the bottom. I keep forgetting to mention, by the way, this is an official licensed product. So it's not like a third-party figure or anything like that. It is officially licensed by Studio Pierrot as well. So yeah, it's all above board with this one. So you just take this off. Hopefully the figure doesn't come off behind it. Here's an instruction sheet as well, just to kind of explain some bits. It's a bit stuck down at the bottom. Wonder why that is. I'll let it kind of slip. And then you can kind of see Itachi there. So he does come with a few different parts. So you've got closed eyes with the blood around his mouth face. His face there can't be seen. I'm not sure why. We'll take a close look soon. You've got some alternate hand parts here. You've got the another alternate face with the bleeding eyes. You've got his hat. You've got the crow down there, kunai, shuriken, and I don't know what that is. Probably the eyes. So he does come with eyes that do actually do light up in UV, which we'll take a look at later on in this video as well. So I can't really say it looks great so far because I can't really see too much. So let me just kind of get this thing out of the box because, yeah, we've just been yapping on about the box too much now. It's time to get on to the actual figure. So here is Uchiha Itachi out of the box. by Rocket Toys as a 1/6 scale figure. So he does come with a few different accessories. We're going to go through the accessories first, and then we'll jump into the figure itself. First look on the figure though, it does look pretty good. You can see, hopefully you agree, that it looks pretty good. Obviously he's covered a lot by his Akatsuki robe, which we'll get into in a little bit more detail. But starting off with the accessories first, actually, ignore this. This is just black light for his eyes. We'll get into that later on. But he's got a few hands. So first hand we're going to talk about is going to be this one here. This one is actually going to be a little bit to hold on to his hat that you can see back there, which I'll show you just a second. So this one is going to have the kind of fingers, the index finger and the thumb kind of close together. All of his hands do have that classic purple, I guess purple, looks purple to me, nail polish that Itachi is known for. The sculpting on the hands is very, very good. He's got slight vein details on all of the hands, and the knuckles have a little bit of skin tone to them, which I really like about this figure. You can see the Akatsuki ring on his finger there, on the ring finger there. So all of the right hands will have that ring on there, which is nice attention to detail. The left hand that he comes with, so this one, his fingers are kind of claw shaped, again with the nail polish. This one you can actually input the shuriken inside the gaps of his fingers, which I'll show you in a little bit. Hopefully I don't forget that. Probably best not to leave them though in there, because they are a little bit soft and you may end up leaving marks, and then maybe the color of the shuriken may rub off on those fingers. So just a word of warning, I suppose. The next kind of hand that he comes with is this left hand here. You can see, you can probably guess what this is for. This is going to be to hold onto one of his kunais. So he only comes with a single hand like this, again with the nail polish, which is fine. Attaching this with the kunai is pretty straightforward, which I'll show you as well later. Another right hand that he comes with. So actually he comes with two right hands. Sorry, a right hand and a left hand to hold on to the kunai. It's been a while since I actually got hands on him, so I forgot. But yeah, he comes with a pair to hold on to a kunai, so you can pick whichever one you want. Itachi also comes with the ninpo hands, like so, with the two fingers pointing straight up and then the thumb bent inwards and the other fingers folded as well. Of course, the right hand does come with the ring on the finger. You can see there again, also with the kanji on there. You can notice a little bit of a gap, which allows you to actually put the fingers in to each other, so one hand into the other. I can't remember if this is the right way around, something like that. You can actually do that. There is a little bit of bend to these fingers here. You can see a little bit of flex. So I don't know if I would recommend keeping it in that kind of position for a long time, or doing it too much in case you kind of crack the fingers. But it does work, so it's a pretty cool kind of gimmick, I suppose. But it does work. It allows you to get into some of his kind of iconic poses, so that's pretty cool to see. And the next important part you get is going to be the hand with the crow already pre-attached on there. So the actual relaxed hand, I'll give you a sneak peek there, is going to look like that. You can see back there, which is basically just this same hand, but without the crow. So this one has the crow feet already stuck on. The crow's already entirely on there. You don't need to do anything with it. It's otherwise the same hand with the same nail polish, with the same sort of skin tone as well, as you can see here. So obviously some of the vein details are going to be a little bit obscured because of the crow feet. And then more importantly, looking at the crow, because this is the main part of this particular piece, the crow is nicely textured with details, feather details all around the body. Of course, you've got the wings and feathered wings as well. And then you've got some nice undertones of blue, or blue highlights there. And then there, like so. So it's a nice sized crow for sure. And here's a close look at the red beady eyes on one side, and then on the other side, like so. It's not too difficult to attach the hands with my Itachi, at least, and it looks pretty good once you've got this particular attachment onto the Itachi figure, which I've got footage of it later on in the video too, or you might have seen it already. Outside of the hands, I did mention the shuriken, so he comes with 3 of these shuriken here. So here's one of them. I'm not going to pick them all up because I'm in a slightly awkward position, so getting all of them, I might end up falling over. So here's one single shuriken. It's quite tiny. And as I mentioned, you can put it into this hand right here, between the gaps of the fingers. Hopefully I can get this. So there, it does fit nice and snug, but just a word of caution that it might rub off on, the actual paint might rub off onto the fingers, or it might just cause some marks. So it's up to you if you want to use it, but it's cool that you can do that nonetheless. Like I said, these are small, so try not to lose them. You get 3 of them, just in case I didn't mention it. So you get 3 of those. You get a kunai. I believe it's just a single kunai. I'll have to look in the box again, but I think it's just a single kunai. You might have heard that little cling. It is metal. And then driving that into the kunai hand, so you get right or the left hand, you can do that, either option. You just got to push it in through the bottom of the hand there, like so, and then it should kind of go in. Doing this on camera is always a little bit weird, but there we go. I think I've got it. There we go. So I've used this left hand as an example to hold on to the kunai, and it looks good. The proportion of the kunai is quite good. It's a pretty big kunai. But yeah, you can use that however you want. I I kind of like Itachi without the weapons. He looks a little bit more cool to me without that, but it also does look good with it. So again, it's up to you how you want to do that. Going on to the faces though, so of course you've got the regular face that we've got kind of a visible part of the top half there because the collar is hiding the rest. But you do, of course, get alternate face sculpts as well, which is really great. One of the best things about this figure and Rocket Toy so far is their impressive face sculpts, for sure, impressive face sculpts. So I'm just going to put my thumb over over his head bit there. I actually haven't got hands on with this figure for a little bit now, so I kind of forgot how things were out of the box. But this is one of his alternate face sculpts where he's got his eyes closed, he's smiling, the smile eyes. And this is kind of where you kind of realize he, for sure he is a good guy in that battle with Sasuke. And then he's got the blood coming down out of his mouth as well. You can see there a little bit of gloss paint down left and right side of his lips. Yeah, it's a good face sculpt. You've got a little bit of shadow detailing at the eyes there. But as I mentioned, yeah, once you actually swap it with the hair part, this will obviously get covered and filled in, so that's fine. His ears are nicely sculpted as well. You can see right there. So in general, pretty good head sculpt, and that's not even probably the most detailed head sculpt, but it is still pretty good. I really like the details in general of the head sculpt. Rocket Toys do some fantastic stuff with the faces for sure. That's definitely, I guess, mine and many people's favorite things, or generally just a lot of detail. Then we come on to his alternate other face sculpt, which is going to be a lot of people's favorite, I think. So this one already has the swaying hair pre-attached. If you look closely, you can see the head already attached to the figure. The hair is just kind of flowing down. There's no sway to it. This one has a swayed sculpt to it, you can see, which I think is really awesome. I love this subtle swaying, subtle blowing in the wind. It just looks really great. I love it. And then, of course, you've got the Konoha headband, which has got the slash through it as well, plus with the, of course, the leaf symbol, which is great. And then this one, it's you can see it's got the bloody eye. But if you pay close attention to the Mangekyo Sharingan in here, you can see he's got the red veins in the white parts of the eye, whereas the left one doesn't. So you do actually get a version without the reds in there. So just like the red left eye, sorry, you will get a version like that, which I'll explain in a bit more just in a second. But this is a really awesome face sculpt. I love this one so much. Like just that kind of, it's got like a mixed emotion expression to it, like shocked, seriousness. Just really, really love it. The profile view of it is great. Everything about it is so good. Again, he's got a little bit of shadow detailing around the furrowing of the eyes and the eyebrow. So really great to see. Head sculpt wise, there's a slight color difference between the back of his hair and then the actual bangs. There's a slight difference. It's a little bit more glossy, I think, on the back of his hair, but you won't really notice that too much. I hope I don't drop this at all because I'm really paranoid now. But yeah, it looks great. Some people might say the red is a little bit too vibrant though on the blood, but that might just be because of my camera as well. It doesn't look too bad in person, but it looks pretty good overall. Really nice. You can, of course, swap the eyes out with the regular Mangekyo, not the non-Mangekyo Sharingan if you want. But this face makes most sense having the right eye to be the Mangekyo Sharingan. But really awesome face sculpt and head sculpt in general. Of course, by the way, you do have the ponytail section, which I'll talk about in just a second as well. And here's the ponytail that I mentioned. So he comes with two ponytails. This is the swaying option with blowing in the wind. And the other one I've already got pre-attached. So that one just kind of goes straight down, just like his bangs there. So this one, all you got to do, you got the peg right here and then just add it in like so. And that's it. You've now got the complete head sculpt, which I think looks amazing. As I said, love this head sculpt so much. It's so good looking. So good looking. But let's get on to the remainder of the, I was going to call assets, but the rest of the accessories or parts that it comes with. So the hat is a really cool piece as well. Not everyone will use it, but I think it's very cool nonetheless. It's very light. It looks actually like it's going to be a much more heavier piece, but it is very, very light. Really nicely constructed hat. I actually really enjoy the way this looks. You've got these little, I guess, papery sort of fabric sort of bits kind of flowing here. They're quite hard, actually. They're very starchy. So you can kind of pose these as you kind of want, but it's okay. Because actually when you get it out, it's going to be all bent in. And then you kind of have to just tuck them out, pull them out from inside and then just reposition it, and it looks great. You got the little tassel charm bit here. It's not bad at all. But it would have been great if that was actually made of fabric, just to kind of complete the figure and just add a little bit more oomph. Again, not the end of the world, but just a little something to consider. But it's cool that it kind of is on that little chain bit, so it just kind of moves around. So I really like the hat personally. That's the underside of the hat, by the way. So you've got this little cushioning bit so it doesn't damage the head sculpt of Itachi. So you don't need to take off the hair or anything. You just pop it on his head and it's great. Just like this. Let me just do it quickly. There you go. Hopefully you can see it. And it will look fine. So, and to kind of finish up. So here we've got a little piece, which I'll talk about in just a second. But here's the actual Mangekyo Sharingan eye that I mentioned. There's a lot of glare on there, but you can see it's the Mangekyo shape without the red veins or the red lining on there. So this actual piece here, it's actually to hold on, to pull out the eyes from the face sculpt and to tweak them. So you just pinch. It's just one of these things. And it's really handy. I'm really, really grateful that they added this little tool. It's super handy to use. And on top of that tool, you've got this little peg piece here, which all you got to do, where I'm holding on to that, once you've got this eye plugged into the face and you want to move it around because you can't articulate the eyes, just plug it into the back like that and then just wiggle it around to move the eyeballs. So that's a really cool addition. Don't lose this. It is quite small as well. So using both tools together will help you finesse the eyes and where they're kind of looking and pointing really, really easily. It's very, very handy. So thank you for adding that into the box. And I wish, that kind of this kind of setup happens in the future as well. I usually start with the base stand, so I kind of forgot about that. So of course, Itachi does come with the stand itself. So you can see he's on his base stand, i.e. the kanji is on his one that is basically for him. Every Akatsuki has their own kanji. That's the same kanji that's going to be on his ring hand as well. Then you got his nameplate there. There's a little plastic film. I've left mine on there. But once you take it off, of course, it's going to look much nicer. Plus, you've got the Akatsuki cloud on there too. Then we have the figure itself. So he kind of stands okay on his own, but long term, i.e. more than 5 minutes, just use the stand. It's an expensive figure. You don't want it to drop and fall all over the place. Unless you've got something else that's going to be a bit better looking than this for your own needs. And of course, by all means, go ahead and do that. But here we have the figure of Itachi. He's 1/6 scale. I didn't actually measure him, so I can't remember how tall he is. He's probably around 30 centimeters, around that much. It probably says on the back of the box, but I always forget to look. But he looks pretty solid so far. So, of course, Itachi and most of the Akatsuki members are decked out with their robe, right? And so you kind of got to remove the robe to get into a little bit more detail, which I will do. So just kind of looking at it with the robe on so far, he looks really good. The robe looks great. I will just say a word of caution again, though, that this is probably going to get quite dusty. How to clean it? I guess use a vacuum cleaner on a low suction power, and then maybe the fabric kind of sticky thing to kind of clean your suits and stuff, right? You could use that, but also mine kind of creased a little bit here and there because I kind of left him, how would I say? I just left him kind of on the box without looking after it too much. So he's got a few kind of creases here and there you can see down here. You can probably use a light steamer on that. Don't quote me on that, but that's just something I was kind of thinking if you want to get some of the crinkles out. But for the most part, it's probably going to be fine once you get them out of the box. It shouldn't be terrible. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And of course, you've got the default head right there. So, I mean, the material of the robe is fine. I don't actually know what it's made of. Probably polyester. Feels fine to me. There is magnets on here as well, so I'm going to get into that now. So you've got magnets down. Well, actually, let's open it up. You've got a magnet at the collar bit. Here you can feel the magnet. There's a really tiny circular magnet around here. And then another one over here. And you might see an outline of it actually here and there. And another one here. And then I think that's the last one. Yeah, so you've got about three or four magnets, I think it is. They're not super strong magnets, but they do work. But a little bit of a tug might undo it. This is Itachi with his robe slightly open. Just again, before we go a little bit further, that the colors on my video might be a little bit weird, so hopefully I'll sort that out in post. But the inner lining of his robe isn't a vibrant red. It's more like a wine red. Not super dark red, but going into a wine red. So keep that in mind, which is fine. Same with the clouds. They're not a super vibrant red, which some people might actually prefer. I think he looks great though. But yeah, the lining is fine. It feels nice as well inside. And then here's a closer look at that. The robe does have wires on there, so you got wiring all the way down here and then this side here, so you can bend it like so. If you play around it enough, or even a little bit, you might start seeing the wire poke out here and there. Here you can kind of see the wire just poking out there, so just be mindful of that so you don't end up tearing the material by accident. That can happen with some of these figures or fabric figures that have wiring in them. So just, yeah, something to keep in mind as you handle this figure. So the wire also goes around the base or the hem of the
the robe as well, which is nice. You can see there. But obviously, if you want him to have like a tight, like, you know, the robe being closed, like so, there's only so much that you're going to be able to do that without it opening, I suppose. But play around with it. Not everyone likes fabric clothing, but for this kind of scale and for Itachi, because Akatsuki characters all have the robe, I think it works great. I personally like the fabric, so play around with it and hopefully you'll get the kind of good look for your personal display. So let's take off the robe. It is quite easy to do. It's going to kind of shift around a bit. So you can push his arms back a little bit and then slide off the robe. And here's a quick look at it. Here's the back side of it like so. It's a bit dusty here, you can see. But like I said, get that sticky roller thing. And here's a closer look at the cloud. So the clouds have that, what's that kind of material? I think it's like a screen printing kind of application. The one that you don't want to iron, right? You definitely don't want to put a hot iron on that. And that's how it is on here. It's really neatly done. You can see on the stitching there, it's nicely done. It's all neat on all sides. And then the inside stitching is all really nice and clean as well. So good job to Rocket Toys for that. I'm going to put this here. It is going to gather some dust in my room. My room's a bit dusty, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll just try and clean it a little bit later. So here we've got Itachi without the robe. Now I'm going to shift his arms back a bit more. Actually, something I probably should have pointed out before, now that I've got it in my mind. So you can see his ponytail, which is actually down the back of his top. Unintentional, but because his ponytail kind of sticks out a bit, you'll get this kind of, I guess, padding look when you've got the robe on as well. So personally, if you're going to use the robe, just remove the ponytail because you're not really going to see it. And it just fits nicer flush with the back and it just looks overall better in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. So here he is with his undergarments on, or his kind of regular clothes without the robe in that kind of, it's kind of like a grayish blue kind of stone color that he's going on. So looking at the top, we're going to actually start with his default face. Let's just actually start there. I'm going to get him off the stand because he's okay without that, and I'm going to get him closer. So here's actually the default head first, which again, it looks really, really good. I love it. It looks fantastic. Amazing face sculpt. It looks great on all sides. And here I've got the regular kind of 3 Tomoe Sharingan applied to that. Now I've got his eyes slightly looking upwards, so you can't see the Tomoe that's at the top. So you should be able to see the 2 bottom ones. But you can see the nice red that these eyes have. Again, my camera is probably picking up a little bit more vibrancy on it. But it's a fantastic face sculpt. Just like all the Rocket Toys ahead of this one. For example, the Rocket... what was it? Sengoku Basara ones. So this is just really awesome job by Rocket Toys. This is actually getting a little bit distracting for me. I'm going to bring that up. There we go. But yeah, I really love what's going on with the face sculpt. The Itachi, all of them look really good. Honestly, they look so, so good. So good job to Rocket Toys on the head sculpt there. Of course, I mentioned before that the hair on this version of the head sculpt just flows down nicely. The head sculpt bangs look really nice there. You can see the slight difference between the fringe, the bangs of his hair versus the backside, the ponytail portion of it. It's not that noticeable once you've just kind of got him on display, but there is a slight noticeable difference. A little bit more glossy as well on the ponytail section. Now, actually, I can't remember why they gave 2 of these. I thought they would have just given 1. But yeah, they just gave 2. I couldn't really spot the difference, but there probably is a difference. But anyway, going back to the beautiful head sculpt, it looks great. Of course, you've got the Konoha headband again with the slash across the leaf symbol. And then this one is pretty expressionless face. That is pretty much Itachi's neutral standard look. So you couldn't really ask for more here. Going down though, actually finishing up with the ponytail. So this is the straight ponytail down. There's a slight blue highlight at the tip of the ponytail there. As I mentioned, I would recommend taking it off if you're going to have the robe on. If you're going to have him in this look here, then of course put the ponytail back on. You can swap the part, which I'll show you later on. As in you can swap it with the suede hair and of course the face part, which is really interesting. I'll get into that in just a second. Then coming on to his little necklace bit there, you can see he's got a slight curved bit to rest around his collarbone to his neck. Make sure you've got that correct curve going on. Word of warning, when you do pop off the head, try not to lose that necklace bit because it can easily go missing. So just, yeah, remember that he has to have his necklace on. Coming down to his top, like I said, it's got that stone color here. This little chainmail bit around the top bit here, it's actually just kind of patterned. It's not really like see-through. It's not like a vest type of thing. Would have been cool if it was, but it's not. Then he has this little sash, which is just a plain white kind of thing on a Velcro strap there. So nothing too exciting down there. It's just a kind of long line top that he's going on. He's got really plain kind of clothing for this kind of outfit. Then he's got his pants. His pants, by the way, are on an elastic there at the waist, you can see. You could remove his top if you wanted to. It's otherwise a standard body underneath, similar to what we see with, I think it was, again, yeah, Rocket Toy Sengoku Basara figure. Then his pants are pretty much same sort of material, same sort of color, and same sort of basicness to them. This material is quite similar to what's around his waist as well. So you can see the cuffs actually of his pants here. So sometimes just play around with it. If his pants start to rise, just kind of shift it around a bit. You got these which wrap around here, and then I believe these are kind of glued down. So if in the event it does come undone, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, you can probably just glue this back. So it's not a Velcro strap, but you could probably just glue it back. And then there are his ninja sandals, which you can see. His toes also got the purple nail polish on them. A little bit of shading here and there, really kind of minimal shading here and there. There's a bit more on the actual sandal, which looks a bit more like worn, which is cool. I don't know if that's actually intentional or not. It looks like it could be. But yeah, that's the bottom of them as well. Slight kind of browning on them. Really soft tones there. But otherwise, it's pretty simple. I skipped over his hands, actually. So left hand, this is what he's got for his left hand. Let's bring it up over there. And then for his right hand, I believe I got this right. Because again, I hope I didn't leave anything in the box. If I did, well, I'll talk about it later. But here we've got the slightly different right hand. It's still got the ring that you can see there, but you can see the way the fingers are curved are slightly different. So you've got the first and second finger and the thumb kind of in that claw section, which you might recognize. This is one of the kind of iconic poses where he's going towards Sasuke, right? If you remember. So this is the hand that you would use for that pose. So that's it. That's Itachi. Very, very simple with this kind of extremely simple outfit as well. When it comes to articulation, it's pretty much a standard body. If you're not familiar with that, we'll go through it. So he's got the head articulation, which sways, looks down, and then looks up. But looking up, you're going to get the slight ponytail kind of obstructing things a bit. And of course, you can look left and right. And then for the shoulders, I'm in a slight awkward position, so I'm trying to get this as best as I can. And they are a little bit more sturdy compared to, say, your 6-inch figures. So it's taking me a little bit more effort to put them up. But yeah, he can move his arm up that way and then up like that, back and so on. And then he can twist. I believe he can twist. Yeah, there we go. He twisted it there. Bend his elbow like so. And then you've got the twist at the hand. You can see there we go. There's the anchoring of that. And then for the torso is not spectacular. I think it's the same as previous figures too. So he can lean left to right like so. Again, it's an awkward position I'm sitting in. He can lean and then he can lean back like so. And then lean forward like so. He has no twist at the waist. I believe the Kakashi from Rocket Toys has got an updated body, so he can do it. But pre-Kakashi, they cannot twist. Which is how I broke my Date Masamune figure, unfortunately. So I'm not going to do the twisting here. He just doesn't twist. Actually, we can kind of show you that. I'll give you a preview. So you can see there's no, it should, in my opinion, there should be a twist here, but it doesn't. It doesn't twist. So yeah. Anyway, for the legs, he can kick up like so. Of course, if he's got his robe on, then he probably can kick forward a bit, but depends how you want the robe to sit. He can go into the splits like so. Just be mindful how far you want him to split. You're probably not going to get him into splits like this anyway, but of course you don't want to stretch it too much and end up splitting his pants. And then there's a little bit of twist at the upper bit here. You can probably see it very subtly moving. He's got a knee bend like so. He can bend a little bit more, but just for the sake of his pants not tearing, I'm not going to do it too much. As I mentioned though, when you've got that, you'll see his cuffs rise up. So I'm going to straighten his knee out a little bit. And then you've got a bit of a calf twist here. And then this is the ankle. And then it rocks like so. Sadly, no toe pivot. I do wish they would start adding toe pivot to these figures as well, because it's just a subtle thing. And that covers the articulation. Honestly though, because it's Itachi, chances are you're not going to get him into any diving through the air, flying kick poses. You're going to probably keep him pretty neutral, standing around, legs slightly apart, nothing too grand. Most people are probably going to keep him in his robe, because the Akatsuki robe is just super sick looking. Honestly, I'd keep him in the robe and either with the hat on or with the crow. I think those are the best looks that he's got going on for him. Of course, if you want to have multiple displays of Itachi, then you can have this look as well. And then with Itachi, was it Sasuke, right? If that ever comes out with this hand, where he's kind of going towards him. Let me quickly swap some parts though. Nothing too crazy, because again, it's awkward to do like this scale figure on camera or behind the camera, in front of the camera. Where am I? Behind the camera. But the head is fortunately quite easy. But actually, before we get into that, talk about the eyes. So you can see his eyes. There's something a little bit peculiar about his eyes, which you may or may not know about. So other than the eyes looking really nice and having a really kind of glossy look to them, they do actually light up a little bit with UV light. I think it's or black light, one of those ones. And it's supposed to light up a lot more. In the promo shots it was supposed to, but I think because of the final production of the Itachi figures, at least the initial kind of wave, the paint kind of didn't allow a lot of that kind of the light to kind of light up enough. So I think if you've got a later Itachi, as in second print more recently, then yours might look a little bit more vibrant. So let me just basically show you how that would look. So I've got my light, and I'm going to need to, let me put him back, because I'm going to need to turn the lights off here and kind of illustrate this. So this will work for basically every eye. I think only one of the eyes it might not work. This one it won't work with, but it'll basically work with the Tomoe eyes and the Mangekyo Sharingan. So the regular Sharingan and the other ones. So let me turn this little torch on so you can see just the little light there. And I don't know if you can see right now, so you might not see it. So let me turn the light off, and hopefully that will give you a better look at things. So basically, you've got Itachi here right now. Looks fine. Nothing bad, right? But if you wanted to have him with UV light on it, then let's turn this off. I'm going to aim it at his face and see what happens. So I'm going to have to focus this a little bit. So you can hopefully make out his eyes do shine a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to have to get a little bit closer, but behind the camera, it's a little bit hard to see. But I've got separate footage of this, so if I can't show it to you right now, then you will see this in additional footage. So it's really subtle, but it is definitely there, which I think is really cool for them to add. Let me turn the lights back on. All right, so now we've got the lights back on. So like I said, it does work with both the Sharingan face and also the Mangekyo ones. The Mangekyo one, you can see he's got bigger eyes, so you might spot the difference more there. It's unfortunate that the way it lights up wasn't as much as they wanted it to be compared to the promo shots. I think if you got, like I said, the wave 2 of this figure, or third wave, one of those, then you might have slightly better eyes. But this one, I think mine was like the earlier waves. So yeah, you can't replace them with like asking them to just send you a new head sculpt. They just won't do it, or new eyes, because you can actually, like I said, swap the eyes. But let's swap some heads. So you can just remove the bangs here like so, and kind of saw that before. And this is a really cool bit I really liked about this figure. It's on a magnet. That's so cool. The magnet is neither too strong nor too loose. It just works. So it attaches, and you just got to reposition it so it aligns correctly. But it's so good. I love that idea. I just really like it. I don't know why I didn't even think of it myself, but really amazing decision by Rocket Toys there. Such a simple decision, but it works really, really well. You've now got access to the eyeballs there, you can see. And here, I might as well show you how to do the peg thing. So just plug the peg in like so, and then you can see you can maneuver the eye, so you can get him looking to the left, right, and so on and so forth. A little bit like I've seen, or we should have seen in other figures like Robotech. They've done it before, but this is just so much easier to do it because of the scale of it. And of course, as I mentioned, I'm going to actually put this carefully here, and just to show you, you can pull the eyeball out, just do that, and then this is where you want to squeeze, not here. Instead, just easy to grip it here, and then pull it out. Don't lose it though. There we go. Because I would say squeeze it here so it doesn't go flying. So at least you've still got to hold on. You're still pinching the eyeball. And there we go. You just swap the eyeballs out like that. I'm going to put this one back in. Remember to line it up. The instruction sheet conveniently and nicely tells you which way around the Tomoe symbols or the Mangekyo should be positioned. Really handy. Easy to work with. We're going to swap to the Mangekyo face. So I'm going to take this off right now. And then all I'm going to do is just swap it on. Like so, and then replace the hair And then there we go. Just replacing it. Really, really simple. Again, do the same thing with this alternate head sculpt if you want to. The ponytail is easy. We kind of spoke about that a little bit before. So it's really quite simple to do. And once again, I can't remember why they gave 2. Maybe just to have 2 complete heads at least. But it's really simple and straightforward to do. His hands, I'm going to say they were easy for me. I didn't have too much trouble changing his hands. But you know how things work. Sometimes it ends up being harder on camera. So I'm going to squeeze and hope. There we go. Got rid of one hand. So this is his right hand. And I'm going to swap it for... Well, I use the left hand for that. I'll swap it for this hand. The one that he would use to hold his hat. So this one should go on easily. At least like it did for me off camera. I feel like it's coming on. Yeah, hopefully. If it doesn't, try and use a hairdryer and just warm the socket up. Not the peg, the socket on the hand itself. And I'm twisting. Twisting is probably not that great to do either because you're not loosening stuff potentially. But it's mostly on. I need to kind of push it in a bit more. Let's try it one more time. Can we get this in? Come on, Itachi. Help a bro out. Help a Nakatsuki bro out. There we go. So his hand's in. You might feel a click on the hand attaching. But there we go. We've got the hand, alternate hand attached. Honestly, I didn't have too much trouble with the hand. I'm just doing it on camera. So of course it's naturally a little bit harder to do. But otherwise, off camera, it was honestly not that bad to do. When it comes to attaching these, I would probably say up to you. Maybe just do the hand first and then attach your weapons. But it is otherwise pretty straightforward. Getting his robe back on should be easy. Just kind of bring his arms back and then slide one sleeve in. It's like dressing a baby, but like an adult as a 1/6 scale collectible. Easy, easy. And it doesn't scream. It's easy. And that pretty much covers Itachi. Honestly, it's not that complicated of a figure, but it is a very nice looking figure. I don't know why I'm putting the hat back on. It just looks... I just like the hat. I think the hat looks really cool. If you want to get the correct orientation of the hat, then I believe it's this should be pointing down the center of his head. And then you have the tassel on his right side. And then, yeah, you can have him hold on to his hat. Like so. Let me try and get that fingers holding on to his hat. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a really simple figure, honestly speaking. It's not the hardest thing to set up. It's quite easy. I think people might have a little bit of trouble getting the robe to kind of sway in a way they want based on the wiring. And then the wire might poke out. But honestly, it's not the hardest of figures to mess around with. It's really quite simple. But I will have to say it's a really good looking figure. Now, of course, this isn't the only Naruto figure that Rocket Toys have done. There is the Madara figure, which actually came out before this guy, but I haven't opened that one yet. So I will open that one soon, hopefully. And what they've also announced recently, Kakashi is also coming out, which I'm waiting for my pre-order to kind of ship. I think I'm waiting for wave 2 of that one. But they also announced that they're doing Kisame. Who else is it doing? Tsunade and God, who else? I think they announced like 5 new ones. Another Akatsuki dude, the puppet guy, Sasori, that was it. And gosh, there's a few of them. Hinata was another one, which they aren't all like. Problem with Naruto characters, everyone has their favorite, bit like Pokemon. Everyone has their favorite Naruto character, but they still haven't announced Naruto or Sasuke. So that I think they're just kind of waiting for later on. But still, I'm really down for the Hinata and the Tsunade because I think the unpainted previews look really good. The prototypes look really good for those. Sasori was really interesting because that's the entire puppet. And then who else? Kisame, because Kisame is pretty cool. And you kind of need Kisame because I've got Itachi as well because they kind of paired up. But otherwise, really solid figure, right? You can kind of see that. So
to recap, it's a really good figure. Honestly, I love what Rocket Toys are doing so far. From the 2 previous figures of Sengoku Basara that I've opened, and now this, and also what's coming up looks really great as well. I think the options that Itachi have is pretty good as well. So you've got the options to mess around with the eyes, and it's easy to do as well. That's what's really great about this figure. Nothing felt too difficult or frustrating to do that some figures can be. So changing his eyes is easy. Taking off his Akatsuki robe is easy. I personally really like the Akatsuki robe with the crow or wearing his hat. I think that's a really awesome look, and it's going to look great on anyone's shelf. Of course, keep it away from dust because it is a black robe, and then you'll start seeing speckles of dust, as you can see on my one as well. But otherwise, it's a really fantastic figure, easy to kind of handle and swap parts with. So that's a great job by Rocket Toys over there. I'm really looking forward to other figures that they do, not just with the Naruto series, but anything else IP-wise that they're going to do. I do know that they have the Bleach license, but nothing has been revealed on that so far just yet. Now, this Itachi figure and all Rocket Toys figures are expensive. They are over $200 per figure for the most part, so definitely a high investment. But if you do have the money saved up and a nice place to kind of put it, or you know someone that really would appreciate a high-end figure like this, and they love the character, of course, as well, then to me, it's, yeah, definitely recommended for the enthusiast. It's not really recommended for anyone that wants a toy. You can go for some that 6-inch scale for that. But this is definitely a high-class figure, a premium figure, and one for a really big fan of the series and this character in general. Good job again to Rocket Toys for delivering another great looking figure, and I'm really excited to see what they do next.